Welcome, everyone, to Silicon Labs Talking Tech podcast. We're happy that you joined us for this episode today. We are going to continue our conversation today about customer support. A lot of you are our customers. We want to make sure that you understand how you can engage Silicon Labs to make sure that your next project with Silicon Labs Solutions goes smoothly. So today I am joined by three of my colleagues at Silicon Labs, and they hold different positions that they'll explain later that are critical in providing the excellent customer support that we strive to provide to you. They lead our applications engineering organization. And so Tabi Parker, thanks for joining, Tabi.
Hi, thank you.
Tabi is the director of our product applications team. Also joined by Jan Schnepp. Jan, you manage the regional applications team, correct?
Correct. Hi, Kyle. Thanks for having me.
And finally, we have Colin Tompkins, a good friend of mine. He is the director of our segment applications team. Thanks, Colin, for joining us.
Great to be here, Kyle.
All right. So now that you know that I have a large group here today, as I said, we want to make sure that you, as our listeners, understand customer support. Ryan Orton was on our last podcast, and he talked about how we support customers from the field perspective. He goes and visits customers on a daily basis and helps with customers. But the three people I introduced today, they actually provide a much larger umbrella of support. And so we thought it would be great for you to understand that, so that when you start engaging with Silicon Labs, you can know where your support's coming from and all the engineering resources that we offer. So let's kick it off. The first question I have, Jan, why don't you answer this one? What is the first thing that you would recommend for every customer to do when looking for support on a project when they're working with Silicon Labs?
Yeah, happy to do so. Thanks, Kyle. Probably the first thing when it comes to support, and if you look for answers when it comes to our products or solutions in general, is probably go to the community. We just revamped the community with a brand new design and some more extended functionality, and also easier to explore and exchange information. That would be probably the first spot. And just for our listeners, in case you don't know where to find it, there are basically two ways I would suggest to go there. Is A, you go through our webpage, www.scilabs.com, hit Learn and Support tab and click on Community, or you go straight to community.scilabs.com. That's the easiest way to get there. The community by now is offering tons of content. We are talking here about knowledge around our products. There are problems which have been solved before, problems from other customers. So essentially your peers, what did they run into and how did they solve them? So there's a lot of good stuff. On top of that, we use the community also to communicate a lot of things that we are working on internally. So announcements, our conference this year works with sharing content there. And last but not least, the community is something which I consider a vibrant space for information exchange. You know, you can exchange with peers. You have different eyes on your problems, and people can help each other outside Silicon Labs. So it's very interesting to see different perspectives, and it's probably the richest experience you can have if you encounter a problem during your development. And let me just make one more comment. Not only since we revamped the community, we are really committed to foster the community and make it a place of open exchange. And we are investing heavily in the community.
Yeah, I just visited it this week with the recent revamp, and it is terrific. And I think it's going to provide new ways that customers can get support. And then I think more importantly, it's going to be a lot easier for our internal team to support the community. I know a lot of the improvements were our ability to respond, our ability to track, and our ability to keep that community accurate and full of good answers. So that's great, Jan. Great suggestion. Any comments from Tabi or Colin?
The only thing I wanted to add is, we just launched the new community, and it's great. It's a great start, but there will be continual improvements over the next year. So if you do have an issue with the community platform, just let us know, and we'll address it as soon as we possibly can.
Yeah, and the great collateral on www.scilabs.com is of course an excellent resource for any customer working with or evaluating our products.
Absolutely. So, all right. Well, Tabi, you jumped in first, so why don't you answer the second question? So, what is the newest effort at Silicon Labs to provide best-in-class support to the customers using either our silicon or our software? What have we done recently to make it easier for customers to work with our products?
That's a great question, Kyle. As you mentioned earlier, I lead the product applications team, and we have a deep technology focus. We're organized by technology within this team, and we're responsible for a few things. One of them being collateral that we create for our products, particularly at launches, but also general collateral as well. And this is something we collaborate with very heavily with the regional and segment applications team as well. There's two initiatives that my team has been focused on for the past few years. And yes, it's been years. Slow and steady wins the race. But two things: GitHub. So we've been putting a lot of sample code there. And so if you're not familiar, it's not cross-linked very well on our site today, but this is something we are working on. So if you go to GitHub, it's www.github.com/siliconlabs, all one word. And if you Google for it, you can find it. But we're putting a lot of sample code there. A lot of basic peripheral configuration that can be integrated with a software stack, and that tends to be the most popular examples that we have. But we also have some application layer examples demonstrating more complex concepts as well. These are organized by technology, and the organization on GitHub isn't the best, but if you click up at the top, once you land on the Silicon Labs page, there's an application_examples repo pinned at the top there that has all of those repos organized in an easily browsed way, so you can find what you're looking for. Of course, you can also find it through search. That works too. The maintenance policy for all of these examples is documented in the READMEs for the example, and anyone using the examples, if you find any problems, which we hope doesn't happen, but it can. And if you do find any problems, you can submit those via the GitHub issues, and we are monitoring that and responding to that as quickly as we can. I think on the peripheral examples repo, we have something like 100 issues that we've closed at this point that have been reported since the inception of the repo. So that's super exciting. A lot of really great content there. The other initiative I wanted to mention is docs.scilabs.com. This is also a work of progress and a labor of love, but we're consolidating all of our software documentation into a single organized and searchable place. So to start, some of the content will be PDFs, but the idea is to move everything into native HTML content, so you can easily search all of it either from Google or from the website itself, either scilabs.com or docs.scilabs.com. And you can find what you're looking for very quickly and have it be organized with other content next to it that's relevant to that search. So that's an ongoing effort, as I mentioned. The Bluetooth documentation is our proof of concept, and it's ahead of the curve compared to the other technologies. But additional technologies will be added over the next year as we bring them up to speed with Bluetooth. So definitely check both of those out, GitHub and docs.scilabs.com.
Yeah, I really like docs.scilabs.com. We've used it for a lot of customer engagement events. And the nice thing is it's always, current and fresh. It's not a separate document that can become stale. So it's a lot easier for the teams to keep it updated. However, you can always print the page and create your own PDF. So I know I've worked with customers and they like going to docs.scilabs.com because they know it's fresh and current, but they can always print a PDF and have that static document that they can refer to. So it's an excellent new improvement, like you said, Tabi, that we've added for customers. So the last question I have that it's as formal is, I'll leave it for you, Colin, since you're our third guest, and maybe this is perfect for you. How is Silicon Labs adapting to the changing needs of customers? I mean, the way people are engaging Silicon Labs, the way people are working, just the technologies they're working on have changed. So Silicon Labs as a company has to modify how we're engaging customers. Can you talk to the listeners about how we've changed to support customers?
Sure. I think we've already touched on some things, the community and the GitHub and docs.scilabs.com initiatives are all changes that we're affecting to help us to adapt to the way that our customers and the markets want to engage with us. Another thing that is my main focus is that we're focusing on specific IoT market segments. So we have dedicated marketing teams that are engaging there, and segment applications is a new team that is collaborating with them and those customers in those markets. The idea is this will enable us to better understand and service those customers. And it's a new group. We just are getting started, but we're already starting to see some benefits to that approach.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with the team. There's a segment for medical. There's a segment for electric shelf labels, several different segments. I mean, end devices for light switches, window coverings. So as you said, Colin, we're really taking an organizational approach to really learn about a market, figure out what the customer needs are, and now your group, the segment applications team, is going to really drill into the application requirements and the technical needs, and to your point, support that those customers are going to need. So I think it fills a huge gap. So I'm sure you're going to have your hands full, but it's going to be something that the customers are really going to appreciate.
Indeed, it's very exciting, and we're just getting started on the application side and starting to see some benefits already.
Well, excellent. Well, I hope these 3 questions will help the listeners. I think you guys did a great job providing new information. A lot of the links that you mentioned, Tabi and Jan, for the community, I'll put those into the podcast description. So the listeners, if you found any of those comments interesting, you can immediately click those links and go to the content that Jan, Tabi, and Colin talked about today. Is there anything else, any final comments that you guys have for our listeners? I'll start with Jan. Do you have anything that you want to just leave the listeners with?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, let me just reinforce saying, please visit our community, be part of the community. We really can encourage you to work there and seek answers and contribute, because in the end, our listeners here make the community what it is and where we want it to be. So we are looking forward to welcome you there. And all that remains to say is thanks for having me on this podcast. And Paul, out of you, good luck.
Sure. Yeah, we'll have you back again, Jan, as the community develops and as your team has more things to share with the customers. What about you, Tabi? Anything that you want to leave with the listeners?
Thanks, Kyle. I think the biggest thing for me is, Silicon Labs is not like a lot of other companies, and we really do care about the feedback we get from our customers, from anyone using our products. So, if you leave us a comment on the community, and we're rolling out a new tool to provide feedback seamlessly on docs.scilabs.com and our website. If you give us comments and you give us feedback, we have surveys that go as well. If you give us that feedback, we will act on it, and we value it very highly. So thank you.
I know for a fact that all 3 of you take customer support and engineering support it's your core. So any feedback we receive, we definitely appreciate it, because it's the only way we're going to get better. And so Colin, you want to wrap it up? Is there anything that you have, sort of a final comment for the listeners?
Sure. First off, for any customers listening, just thank you for working with us and using our products. And to just echo, some of the prior comments, we strive to have the best world-class apps engineering organization in the industry. And if you ever need support, we have people that are highly skilled and motivated to help you.
Perfect recap, Colin. And so to our listeners, I hope that listening to Jan, Tabi, and Colin help you understand all those engineering resources that Silicon Labs puts in place to support our customers. And hopefully you found something new that you can look into, and it will help you drive your new design to be more successful and finish quicker. With that, we have run out of time. I'd like to thank everyone for listening. And until next time, everyone, stay safe.